Yep.
Hi.
All right, the group here before was much better.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
This is Francois Ravel, and he'll be talking to us about what's up in Haiku at the FOSDEM 2020 distribution schedule.
Hello, everyone. I'm not sure I would have the time to make a demo. Oh, well, let's try anyway. Oh, that's not the one. Yeah. French. Yeah, I speak English, but yeah. I already made a partition, but yeah. Install anyway. So, what's Haiku? Haiku is a free software operating system. Oh, it's done already. Ha, DT. Oh. You actually have to put the boot sector and install the boot manager. You can actually use grub. Yes, yes, it's dangerous. I know. Reboot. So Haiku is a free software operating system, and it's inspired by the BOS, which used to be a proprietary operating system in the late 90s. And we have our own kernel and our own graphical interface, and here we are. We're inside Haiku. I just do something for the demo and we're done. I do have a CD record package here. And, oh yeah, if I search CDR, if I remove the package from the active package directory, yep. I could zoom in, but I never tried. Ah, gee. Oh, great. It's a bit weird, but so I just removed the CD record package, so no CD record anymore. If I put the package back, yeah, it doesn't like it, but it's back again. And that's for the demo because I don't have much time. Yeah, that's still a bug to resolve, but. So as I said, it's a free software operating system. We started in just after the P Inc. demise, and it took us like 17 years to get a first beta because we take our time. There are several recommended platforms, mostly Intel-based. The first one is the recommended one if you want to also run BOS binaries, which are getting quite rare now. But you can use the latest GCC if you don't mind. There's also a 64-bit image, which works quite well. And some more exotic platforms, which I won't get into detail because they don't boot anyway yet. We do have nightly builds. It's been going on for quite some time now. They can be updated live, and updates are transactional. I will get into it later. We are getting to beta2 real soon now, as we say. And we have a build infrastructure which is getting quite good, so it's easier now than for the first beta. But you still can find DVDs from the latest beta, so you need to ask Adrien, which is over there. We don't have any stickers anymore. We have to make new ones. We started optimizing because a long time ago we used to boot with 40 megs of RAM. But yeah, it's getting there, but you can actually boot Haiku, but you can't install it with that low RAM level, but yeah. And some various improvements. And we started to clean up because for the other platforms, The glibc was a mess because we had to stick to an old glibc for BOS compatibility. So for newer platforms, we just imported some stuff from the Muzzle C library for mathematics operations, at least. We did some stuff on the security side, but if you're a security expert, we do need some help. Well, we started from a very low level. We still run apps as root. I know it's bad, but, well, it works. We have many more drivers this time, and we still support floppy disks. Yeah, well. We did have vector icons for some time now with a custom format, which is much smaller than SVG, so we can actually store them alongside the inode for some files. But the GUI used to have like 8 by 8 pixel stuff in some places, so now it scales with the system font size. So you just have to set the font size to, let's say, 18 points, and it just scales everything up. We do support some theming, so you can actually make Haiku look as ugly as CDE or Windows 3. For a bit of about packaging. We used to don't really have a proper packaging format in BOS. Some use zip files that you unzipped where you wanted. It worked at the time. We did have some PKG files with a click, 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 and yeah, well, but they didn't have any dependency management, so it was a mess. With Haiku, we started with some scripts that just downloaded zip files and unzipped them, but it's same, no dependency package management. So now we have had the packaging infrastructure for quite some years now. Well, we have a package folder with all the packages inside. They are compressed file with our own format, and some other state files. By default, all the packages that are in there are active, but you can actually change this. And when you do an upgrade, you can actually go back to the previous states because they are saved. And the update is transactional, so all the old files are moved to this folder, and either it updates or it doesn't update, but it should work. So basically, as I showed you, installing Haiku is just copying 400 files, and that's it. And updates are also quite fast. We also have a package file system, which is a virtual file system which mounts all the active packages content in the file system. There are some shine-through directories which you can actually use to install manually, like ./configure --prefix equals is our user local directory, if you want. There's a tool called Haiku Porter, which you can run to build packages from recipes. We have a repository of recipes, which is called Haiku Ports, which you can find on GitHub. We didn't reinvent the wheel. We just took the packaging naming from Gentoo, and yeah, the recipes are basically shelf scripts. We do have several interfaces to this. There is Haiku Depot to search and install software. There's a software updater. There's also a tool to get the old BOS PKG files and create a proper Haiku package for them. And then there's a command line interface because, well, not everyone knows how to use a GUI. This was a bit challenging because, well, some people complain when we introduce the package management because they say, oh, no, it's not the BOS way. Well, actually, it is the BOS way because it's simpler, it is cleaner, it's faster. So, well, on the bright side, we get almost reproducible builds. We probably have to patch GCC to make this fully reproducible. But it means that when you create a package, you actually have to have all the dependencies built already, so you get cyclic dependencies and everything. And some parts of Haiku actually need Haiku to build. So there is a Haiku port cross repository with a few recipes for a cross-build package, but we don't always check it. And also, applications tend to put config files everywhere. And when you use language-based package managers like pip, it wants to add a line in a file telling that there is a directory with packages inside. So yeah, but it's doable. So as I said, updates are fast. You can actually find where a file comes from by reading an extended attribute. And you are quite sure the binary didn't change because it's read-only anyway. You can also blacklist files like broken Wi-Fi drivers from the base package, either at boot or permanently. And as I said, you can boot previous states if something breaks, which sometimes happen. Like last week, we broke the bootloader, which is a bit problematic because the stage one, the first sector of the disk, only knows how to locate the primary one and not the previous ones. But it's not that hard to fix. The transaction directories, we cannot restart from them, so you have to re-download everything when there's a checksum error or something, but maybe we'll fix this. And it uses a bit more memory, but we are quite conservative, so it's not that bad. And we found out we cached like 2 or 3 times the package content, so it's better now. I don't have many numbers to show you, but for now we have more than 4,000 packages, recipes on Haiku ports, so packages. We have even more recipes in Haiku ports. None of them are buildable yet. And we have 3 other smaller repositories with 1,500 packages, so it's not that bad. And we don't pretend to run on servers, so we don't have, well, we actually have an Apache package, for example. And I have more than 600 packages on my development virtual machine. It works quite well. I was scared a bit when we started it because I wasn't sure if it would scale correctly, but it's not that bad. So now that I convinced you that you should port your application to Haiku because it's much better, well, some people say, oh, that's not POSIX, that's not Unix. Yeah, well, we don't pretend to be Unix. We do have enough support of POSIX not to be bothered with it. But, well, often when I port applications, I found Linux calls directly inside the code without any proper checks. And the same people who say we are not POSIX, they don't even bother to add proper checks for Linux syscalls. So, well. And, well, like BOS did iNotify stuff like 20 years ago, but just differently. Besides, iNotify is not really POSIX anyway. So it's usually okay to have fallbacks. You want to modularize your code because if-def is not always the proper way. Sometimes you just write a base class and subclass this depending on the platform or the feature you want. And sometimes things can just be an option. You don't always have to make them mandatory. So it's usually okay to have fallbacks. Oh, yeah, I say this already. Just a small example, porting a Qt keychain, which I needed for something. It was quite easy. I just replaced some if-des to make them cleaner and changed like 17 lines and added a file, and that's it. And it got merged. One big don't, you don't want to return negated error codes because we already have them negative, and it's bad. Besides, POSIX changed their mind at one point, so BOS wasn't wrong at the time. Build tools are quite okay, just make sure you check for the features you need. Compilers, well, for system libraries we use GCC2, but otherwise it's quite okay. X11, well, what to say, you may want to isolate the X11 code from the logic of your application, and Wayland users will thank you. For Qt, it's quite okay. Again, X11 stuff. We actually had to clean up these in some ported apps. The only problem is OpenGL for now. As an example, I tried to pull the Nextcloud client, but then it said, oh, I need the Qt web engine, which is actually a Chromium fork, and Chromium is a WebKit fork, and it maintains, they maintain their own forks of the dependencies. So we would have to maintain 2 ports of Chromium and 3 ports of the dependencies. So it's, well. On the other hand, the OnCloud client just built, I just had to implement the specific iNotify-like functions. You may want to fix your toolkit because sometimes you think you need something in the toolkit, but you are afraid of touching it, so you work around it. And that's bad. That's bad. There is a great article about it on Linux Weekly News. There are many areas where you can contribute to Haiku. Coding, of course, either porting or fixing the base system. You can translate ads for the system and nice vector icons and stuff like that. We already have a nice source of contributors like GSLUG, which we participated several times. We did GCI like from the beginning, and it's really nice. It's quite a lot of work because you have to check that students do things correctly, but it's nice. And we did Outreachy once, and we have the student here. So yeah, and some contributors actually stay with the project, so that's great. So, well, if you want to help, the slides have clickable links in the PDF, so don't hesitate. You can even donate money if you have some. Yeah, I think that's it. Well, that was fast. So, if you have any question, yep.
So, for somebody who has never used BOS, what would be the reason to use that? I don't even use a really GUI. I'm a command line user. Is there any reason for me to try that?
So why use Haiku when you never actually use BOS? Well, unfortunately, we only had the Haiku booth yesterday. So, but you can come and we'll make you a demo. There are nice features like indexable extended attributes in BFS, which you can search very quickly. So you don't have to run like update DB every night. And you wonder why your laptop is swapping and yeah, update DB. And you can, it's used for emails like subjects and from too. So you can actually, you don't even need to run your mail client to know that you do have new mails. And we have, yeah, nice features like the file browser. We have, it's called X-ray navigation. So you just pop a context menu and you can have the subfolders in submenus. And you can even use it for drag and drop. So you can just drag and drop over a folder. It opens the context menu. You don't have to wait for 10 windows to open and close. So we do things differently. We explore stuff. And yeah, we just show how it could be done. And sometimes the Linux people invent things BOS had 10 years ago, like tickless. So yeah. Yeah, another question? Don't be shy, yeah?
Are there any compatibility layers for other binary formats?
So compatibility layers for other binary formats. We do have a compatibility layers for BSD drivers. For FreeBSD drivers, we use their network drivers for Ethernet and Wi-Fi. So it's a static lib. We just compile the driver with it, and we get a Haiku driver without touching the code. Well, mostly we do send some fixes sometimes. We do have Qt ports. We don't have GTK. We do have SDL and some other stuff. We have many languages. We do have Rust and Go, I think. It's maybe not packaged yet properly, but and Java, of course. It took us some time. We don't have Wine yet, so if you want to, if you're interested, I mean, who uses Windows? Yeah.
So one of the big selling points of BOS was the performance of the kernel to process things like multimedia. I was wondering how Haiku compares with B in that regard.
BOS used to be great at multimedia because the kernel was fast, and so how does Haiku compare? Actually, the BOS kernel wasn't that fast. I did a benchmark like 15 years ago, and it was like 10 times slower than Linux. But the way it works, like it was really multi-threaded at the time, and the applications were also multi-threaded. So each window has its own event loop in a thread. So when a window blocks something, it's like calculations or something, it doesn't stay the whole application. So even if it's slower, you actually feel it's faster because it's more responsive. So it's not so much a speed issue, but responsiveness.
And does Haiku have that responsiveness as well?
So yeah, Haiku does have this responsiveness because we model everything, well, mostly everything like BOS. We do have threads in Windows, and because it's built into the API, just like as if Qt, when you create a window, it actually just spawns the thread for you. Yeah, well, 3 more minutes. Yep.
The Wi-Fi driver for the interface has been broken for a while. How can I fix it?
So your Wi-Fi driver has been broken for a while, so how can you fix it? Well, you can come to us and we'll see. Yeah, you can, of course, submit a bug report. You can create a ticket, and we'll and come to IRC, because everybody still uses IRC, I hope. We can help you there.
How many people use Haiku on a physical device?
How many people do use Haiku on a physical device? At least 2 over there. And 3. Well, great. Yeah. Well, I do have an NVIDIA card in this machine, so it's I have a full HD panel, but only this display is, so it's, well, not really handy. So I have a VM, but we don't really have figures. I think we might find some download figures, but real hardware versus virtual machine, I'm not sure. Yeah. How many people use Haiku at all? Same answer. I don't really know. At least 2, 3, and 4, of course. Yeah.
You have no guesses? Hundreds, thousands?
I have really no idea. Yeah.
We don't talk about users, so we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. We don't track our users, so we don't know. Well, we do have bug reports, people telling it's great, sometimes people complaining on the forum, so yeah, at least some people. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up. Any more questions?
Nextcloud have rebuilt their client for the latest version of Nextcloud, so that might make work a little bit easier.
Nextcloud?
They've basically completely
they rewritten their client.
scratch,
Yeah, I started the port like 6 months ago, so well, a bit more. Yeah.
What web browsers are available on Haiku?
So, what web browsers on Haiku? We have a native browser called Web Positive, which actually runs WebKit inside, thanks to Adrien. We do have WebKit browsers based using Qt, so Capzilla or whatever. We don't have Firefox because Firefox, they keep changing their minds, so we stopped following them. Maybe we'll look at it again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Professor.
Mm.